This is how I play the game! Oh my god! What the fuck?
Holy shit! That is an epic fucking intro, dude. And I have to warn everyone. Warning. What you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting. Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
I hope that you enjoyed the gameplay. Good variety of games. The Darkness was absolutely terrible. The other three were great. Feasting with the King worked out well. All in all, a great day. Very supportive day. My God, super chats were super high. Tips were great. So I have no complaints there. It's always a great time to chill with all of you. This time of year for the, this fall gaming season is always extra special because there's so many games coming out. I have Halloween events that happen. I get to dress up and be silly. I absolutely loved it. I hope that you guys did too.
So one more final Hadouken and a Shoryuken, which looks terrible because I can't Shoryuken in a chair. There's a Shoryuken for you. All right. It is absolutely gross looking.
So I received a detailed message overnight from someone. I'm not going to give their name. I'm not going to give details about it. I'm just going to read you what the message says. All right. I'm just going to read you the message. That's it. All right. You ready for this? Here we go. There's a guy named Mr. Metaker. He's also known as Jim. He was also known as Brightside Bob in the past. I didn't even know that. I knew that there were people who were like Brightside Bill, Brightside Bob, and they all made fun of me back in the day. But I didn't know that this particular guy was one of them. Apparently he was one of the bigger ones. Okay? He said on one of his streams that he wants to interview you about your trolls, your online legacy, and drama. His gimmick is that he puts the spotlight on lolcows, and then his audience, like people on Kiwi Farms, 4chan, and 8chan, destroy those people. He's done it to countless people, even to the point of suicide with Randy Greer. Now, keep in mind, I don't know what they're talking about. I'm not confirming or denying this is real. I'm just reading a message from someone who sent me a message overnight. Don't take this as me saying this is true. I know nothing about the situation. I don't know who this person is or anything, okay? This is what I'm being told, okay? Let's continue. He has to always delete his YouTube stream afterward because of the multiple severe terms of service violations on every stream that he has, and extremely racist chat that spams the N-word.
Oh my God, he's drinking gin. Yes.
At this point, he's been banned off of Twitter for the time being, and his main hub now is on the website Odyssey. Anyway, enough of his backstory. He's basically trying to either ambush you with all the drama questions or sneak on other detractors to surprise you. I wouldn't get lured in with this idea that he's king of the trolls and wants to give you a fair shake, plus point the barrel towards the trolls instead. He knows the crowd wants your blood, and he's been keen on people pleasing. During his interview pitch, he actually treated the mobile game rumor about you as if it were pure facts. He's also made fun of your wife in the past. He's not a good faith. This is not a good faith offer. Your usual trolls will just keep trying to convince you to do it, so keep an eye out. Alright, so here's the thing. Alright? After I got this email, I just happened to jump on YouTube and search for the guy. And all I could find in regards to him and me was the most toxic I've ever seen. This guy as far back as 8 years ago. Yes, as far back as when I moved across the country from Connecticut to Washington, was making toxic-ass content about me. Benefiting from slandering me, saying really nasty things about myself and other people who I associate with. Basically a scumbag.
Oh my God. So no, I'm not doing an interview with this guy. By the way, he never asked me anyway. So, I mean, complete waste of my time, to even bother with this guy.
You can look at someone like Destiny, alright? Destiny is a guy who, over the years, he listened to all the detractor memes about me, and he's talked about them every once in a while. Yeah, it's hurtful when he does. But does he fucking sit there and make a series of hateful videos? Does he every moment keep making fun of me? Does he really No. He's kind of casually hear about something, talk about it, and he moves on, alright? That's called normal human behavior. Anyway, the reason that he starts talking about me is because someone brings me up. Well, then what do you think of Darkside Phil? Because he's infamous for being an ebeggar, right? So basically, that's when Moist Critical goes, well, yeah, I'm up on Phil. Basically, the way he says it, you can tell that, like, he's interested in me as a character, but he doesn't watch my content, all right? You can tell he's not sitting here right now watching my stream. He's watching the detractor highlight of my stream that picks at the bad parts and says that's all that I am, all right? The clip that Moist Critical brings up is a clip that's been out there for a couple of weeks. It's from when I was playing Scorn, all right? And let's address it. fairly, all right? I'm playing Scorn, and everything this week that I'm playing Scorn is kind of going wrong around me, all right? My dishwasher breaks, and I can't afford to fix it. So I'm pissed off about that. Financially, things are so tight. I'm looking at the rest of the month, and I'm like, man, I got games coming up. And I can't even really afford them right now. With what I'm making on my streams and everything, I don't know what I'm going to do. I got all these new releases coming up, and I'm nervous, you know? And basically, my mind is in a bad place.
That was my depression.
You know, I remember when I was playing Scorn that night, I had every intention of liking the game because the first stream I really liked it. That was the stream where the game went to combat, and the combat is absolutely terrible in that game. And there's a double boss fight and all of that. And I basically had stayed later that night than I usually would. As you know, I try to get out of here between like 9, 9:15. Typically, I'm still not even done with work till after 10. I get maybe an hour and a half to spend with my wife every night before we have to go to sleep. Okay? So I can spend some time with my wife before I go to sleep every day. All right? That stream I went late because I was stuck in this boss fight. It was incredibly frustrating because it wasn't a real boss fight. It was a puzzle, basically. It was very poorly and clumsily designed. It wasn't apparent what you were supposed to do. It was really a nightmare. And it really was one of the moments that I realized, wow, these guys didn't know what they were doing when they made this game. Okay? So, I ended up staying like over a half an hour later in this incredibly frustrating part of this game. And I got really heated, really tilted. And then when it was time to adjourn, I basically turned the recording off of the playthrough, because it didn't have to be part of the playthrough, but I basically was very honest with my audience, all right? Now, people don't like honesty on the internet. They don't. To be honest, when people are honest on the internet, people spin it like, oh, you're so mean, or oh, you're greedy, or this or that. It's honesty is very, how can I say, if you're honest about something, there's going to be a couple different schools of people who receive it differently, okay? I like to be honest with my audience as much as I can, but I can't be honest 100% of the time, because when I am, then people use information to hurt me, as we've seen over the years. But that particular night, I was really upset, because not only was I, that week in particular, really hard up for money, all right? But at the same time, I had stayed extra late to play this game that was kicking my ass. The viewership on the stream was high, meaning the views skyrocketed as the word started spreading. Oh, Phil's really struggling with this boss. Let's go over there and let's watch it, right? But what ended up happening was, I got absolutely no, contributions at all that whole last hour of the stream, which was the struggle part that I stayed later, okay? Now, I'm not entitled to anyone contributing to my streams.
That was good.
I'm not. No one has to contribute at all. Hell, I'm doing a podcast right now for 53 minutes. There's nothing. There's no contributions today yet. Okay? I'm not entitled to anything at all. No one has to ever contribute to any of my content if they don't like it. They don't like the way I operate my business. None of you have to do anything. We just talked about this recently. That my detractors actually say things like,
Phil has the pignosis. He mind and brainwashes his viewers into contributing. Wow.
what the fuck are you talking about? Are you out of your mind? You know how crazy you sound? Do you also wear the tinfoil hat, and turn on all your radios loud so that people can't hear you when you say you know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? Right? You're nuts. No, just because I'm honest with my audience doesn't mean that I'm demanding something. Was I upset that night? I absolutely, positively was upset. The game pissed me the fuck off. It made me feel like, because the game was badly designed, and it ruined an experience for me, because I was liking the game up to that point, and I was actually sad that the game had gotten so bad at that point. In addition, I already had a week where things were already really, bad for me financially, both behind the scenes and in front of the scenes. It was a slow week that week, and I didn't even know what was going to happen being able to afford stuff. And I was honest with my audience that night, and some people just can't take that honesty. They don't want that. They don't. They want me to say, oh, everything's happy and rainbows, and if Phil was grateful, he would never say a word, right? There's a difference between being grateful and being sugarcoating everything, all right? There's people out there who everything's always great, and, never a negative word. That's not me. I'm the complete polar opposite of that, And that night, I was very honest with my audience. I basically said, I'm upset because I stayed late for you guys, playing a game that obviously is painfully badly designed, right? And I would hope that the fact that you guys are getting entertainment out of it, because you obviously were. Look at the views skyrocketed. People were really saying they were enjoying seeing me suffer through this. That at least someone would have said, all right, thanks a lot for that. We know you're having a rough week. Here you go. We'll contribute or do something to help you out. And at least then I'll be like, wow, well, at least it was kind of worth it for me suffering through this piece. And it didn't happen. And I got upset about it. All right? I'm a human. I have weakness. Now, here's the thing. Is that greed? No.
I'm good at lying.
But it's definitely not a good look. Which is actually what Moist Critical, exactly the words he had used about Boogie. He says it's not a good look when you got an audience and you're going to say stuff like that to them. You're absolutely right. I 100% will publicly admit that was one of the times when the weakness of me as a person was exposed to the internet. For sure, 1,000,000%. That was a moment that I was weak because I was very upset about how things were going financially for me that week. And because I was so upset at the game, I vented to my audience, and you could say that was bad. But the thing is, what ends up happening is then people say that's all Phil is. All Phil is constantly talking about money, constantly complaining about things, constantly begging his audience, all right? Now, allow me to explain a few things because I think these are some things Moist Critical doesn't know about me, all right? I don't make a lot of money doing this, like I used to at least. I've had tons of financial difficulties in my life. I had to go through a bankruptcy 2.5 years ago. I'm still behind on things because people keep messing with me. If people would just leave me alone, I'd be fine. But I constantly have people who mess with me in every possible way, whether it would be trying to cancel business opportunities, like I said, my partnership with Twitch, my Teespring store, things like that, which is not fair because they do it for things I did 12 years ago, not the real me today. That's really not fair that I have those kind of things happen to me in the modern day, okay? I keep having people mess with me in ways that continuously mess with my finances. For example, last year, someone stole my identity, all right? They tried to steal lots of money from me. I was forced to close down all of my accounts and start them all over fresh. And when I did that, there were payments that could not be made that ended up violating agreements that I had that ended up costing hundreds to sometimes thousands of dollars to fix, all right? This was not cheap. It really just screwed me up. And then things just keep, this year, just 2 months ago, blatant false copyright strikes against the channel. So now people are apprehensive about contributing because they're afraid if they become a member, oh, Phil's going to get suspended. I don't get my membership benefits. So I lose $1,000 of what I normally would have as revenue in a month that I need to pay my bills and operate my business. You know what I mean? And then things keep happening that just get me down on my luck, and it happens. You know, my car breaks down, my dishwasher breaks down, my TV breaks. That's normal stuff of life. But I'm not in a position where I have any kind of a backup. I don't have any credit. I don't have a nest egg. I have nothing to fall back on. So when that stuff happens, a normal person says, okay, I don't want to, but I put it on a credit card. Or I don't want to, but I'll dip it to my savings. I don't have any of that. All right? I hopefully will have that long term, but I'm not there yet. I'm trying to recover from bankruptcy. All right?
Oh my God, he's drinking sperm? So, Moist Critical basically says, Phil goes full mask off in this clip, basically showing that all he cares about is like the money, right? That couldn't be further from the truth.
People would never tell Moist Critical, all right? Yesterday I just did almost a 12-hour marathon. I turned my stream on at 10:45 a.m. The stream didn't go offline until 8:30. And then after that, I even worked longer, all right? During that entire marathon, I took one break for 10 minutes where I ran some ads. I didn't actively chose to run ads every hour. It was not really monetized in that way, all right? I wasn't asking for anything during that stream at all. I never mentioned it. It was just us playing games and having fun and me shouting out when people did contribute, right? That was a marathon where I didn't say a word about it because everything was great and positive. If I have a day like that, that's great. But this is very much my business, all right? I do have to treat it like a business because if I have a day where everything's very slow, and I don't mention, by the way, things are kind of slow today. I would appreciate it if someone could contribute and it would pick up. It would be great. Okay, if I don't do that, and I have a series of slow days, I could actually be screwed. I might not be able to pay my bills for that week. I very much live week to week when it comes to income and what I can afford. I know that sounds scary because it is. That's my reality. Ever since I have no credit and, my bankruptcy, I can't get credit right now. That's the situation I'm in.
That's your fault. You created that business model. You created the monster. You unleashed the monster. And now your complaint is, well, the monster's too powerful to control.
All right? It sucks. I absolutely positively don't like that living in that situation. It's not healthy for me or my family. That's the situation I'm in. I wish I was a bigger YouTuber, but take a look at my DsP Gaming YouTube channel. What do I get? A few hundred views a video? Right? At best, when a new playthrough comes out, I get like 5,000 views on part 1 of a playthrough. I'm not popular anymore. And I know that. I know that very much my content is not for the mainstream. At one point it was. Over 10 years ago, I was known as one of the guys that revolutionized the impromptu commentary on a Let's Play. That was 10 years ago. Alright, that was a very different time, a very different climate. Today, I'm someone who just makes content for a very curated group, meaning I make content for those who still like me and want to see that style of content. I'm not aspiring to appeal to the masses, but because of that, I make what I make. You know what I mean? The other thing here is that I don't get the opportunities that other content creators get. I don't get to do a ad campaign for a product. All right? I don't get a sponsorship opportunity. All right? And there's various reasons. But you know, most of it is because there's so much negativity about me on the internet, in particular my detractors, that every time I've had an opportunity for any kind of a sponsorship, they ruin it for me within 24 hours. The moment the sponsor's announced, ruined. Because they bombard that sponsor with a bunch of really nasty, toxic things. Literally what I just mentioned happened to me last year on Twitch is exactly what they hit the sponsor with. Here's videos of Phil 12 years ago saying something racist or stupid. Yeah, 12 years ago, you know. But this is what they do, because they're fucked up. And so I don't get those opportunities, all right? All I have is income for my viewing audience. And by the way, it's not like I chose that either. Let's also go down memory lane a little bit here. In 2016, I saw the writing on the wall on YouTube, all right? I realized that basically what was going to happen was YouTube was not going to be profitable to operate a business solely on ad revenue anymore. I needed to diversify my content in 2016 and not just be a Let's Player anymore, but start doing one of these channels that has like edited content with voiceovers, countdowns, reviews, that kind of stuff. I did so. The channel was called KO Gaming, okay? It diversified itself from my old moniker of the King of Hate and DsP and all of that. It was completely different. The style of content with delivery was different. The channel was successful. The channel took off. I had a video that had over 1 million views. I had other videos that were getting hundreds of thousands of views. I noticed whenever I made a negative video, it caught on way more than positive videos. I didn't want to make negative videos all the time, but whenever I made one, it got, you know, a lot of traction. The video made me good money. Excuse me, the channel made me good money. And that was my plan. That in 2017, I was going to continue to diversify. I was going to have a Let's Play channel. I was going to have the edited channel. I was going to have vlogging. YouTube demonetized the channel for no reason. No good reason at all. When I asked them for the reason, they said, here's our guidelines for monetization. I said, yeah, but what did I violate that you demonetized the whole channel? They wouldn't explain. At that point, I gave up. I said, I give up on YouTube. I've had enough. I left YouTube in 2017. I became a full-time streamer on Twitch, and YouTube was just a repository for the archive streams, all right? I basically gave up on it. I didn't care anymore about trying to make ends meet being a YouTuber, because they basically had ruined my efforts to do something different.
Oh my god, he's drinking piss.
So, today, my only real income is from my audience. Do I get some ad revenue on the videos? Yes. Is it a lot? No. Take a look at the views I get. I'm not making a lot of ad revenue month to month on YouTube. It's mostly direct contributions from my viewers that pay my bills and allow me to have a living. All right? Now, do I want to operate like this forever? No, I don't. I don't like this. I hate this. I freaking hate this. I don't want to have to constantly be asking for contributions and asking for help. I hate it.
And some people actually believed me. Oh, people are just very gullible on the internet. I don't know what else to say.
Really, it hurts me to do it to my audience. I fucking detest it. I don't want to do it, but I have to. If I want to continue to do what I love, and if I want to do what people tell me is meaningful, then it's a necessary evil, all right? My long-term plan is that within a few years, my credit builds back up, because my bankruptcy will be in the past. I'll be able to do things like apply for loans or refinance my home, and that's going to save me, you know? To show, listen, now I'll have some money again. I don't have to sit here and beg like an asshole every day. If I have a slow day, it's no big deal. If I have a night where I'm playing Scorn and things don't go well, I don't have to explode on my audience and look like an asshole on the internet. But I'm not there yet, you know? It sucks. It's going to be years out at this point till I get to that point, you know? There's nothing I can do about that. I wish I could change it. But
I really don't like this misconception that I'm a man who wears a mask, and then when I take the mask off, it's revealed that I'm like a super greedy dude. And all I want to do is milk my audience for money and constantly guilt trip them. And I couldn't be further from the truth. Good Lord, man. Look in the mirror for a second and stop believing your own lies.
And then one other thing, actually, that Moist Critical said about me that actually is pretty hurtful, but I don't think he means it that way. He basically said, I still say to this day, the best thing that Phil ever left on the internet was when he had his accident, but the rest, he just kept streaming as if nothing happened. And, you know, basically it's hilarious because it shows incredible determination, you know. No one else would have done that, but it's just hilarious to see that this guy just carried on, you know.
And what I would say to Moist Critical is, hey, at least thanks for mentioning me at all. But if you are going to mention me, at least give me a fair shake. You know, I'm here. You ever want to have a conversation with me? I'm available. Unbelievable. Even if you just want to laugh for 5 minutes, whatever, man. But that's better than, oh, look, Phil is just a full-on, this is his business, is just begging and being greedy. Well, if you watch the highlights, the negative highlights, you're right. But that's not the end-all, be-all of me.
You know, it's just not. That's what they want you to believe, because that's this group of people who want to ruin my life on the internet. This is what they do. And I wouldn't even be financially hard up the way I am if it wasn't for them. They're the ones who, every time I'm getting better, they ruin things for me. They got me kicked off Twitch. They got me kicked out of Teespring. They committed identity theft last year, costing me thousands of dollars to fix. To this day, they're hitting me with false copyright strikes. Gee, I wonder why I'm financially hard up.
And I play a game called WWE Champions, which, of all things, if you can believe it, is a WWE game that plays like Candy Crush.
If they would just leave me the fuck alone and leave me to my own devices, this wouldn't be happening. You know what I'm saying? But it just keeps happening because they won't leave me alone. That's the real problem here. And then here it is. Here's the negativity about Phil all over the internet. The big YouTuber watches it. Oh,
see, now Phil's just a meme. He's a beggar. He's a scumbag. It'll never end.
It's just going to be this endless cycle until someone breaks the cycle. Until someone decides to actively say, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll talk to Phil. Maybe I'll have a conversation with Phil. And just see what he is, how he's a guy. You know, we'll talk about some of the stuff, you know. But I'll be honest with you. Moist Critical, he's huge. He's giant. I'm shocked. The guy even spends a minute talking about me in his content. I'm such a footnote. I'm such a fart in the wind when it comes to YouTube content that I can't believe the guy wastes time even mentioning me. You know, in the same... I mean, look, he's talking about Boogie, a guy who at one point had 5 million subscribers and ridiculous amounts of views. And he talks about Darkside Phil, who literally just hit 200,000 subscribers and gets like 300 views on a video.
So that's all I have to say about that. I have no idea if I'll ever hear from Moist Critical on any of it. Probably not. I wouldn't even tell him to bother wasting his time because probably it's not going to turn into anything good for him. It's a shame, you know, that I don't get that fair shake and I don't get to talk to the people who regularly say like this about me, these misconceptions. But again, I don't blame him. When literally he searches for me and he sees new negative video about Phil, new negative video about Phil, here you go. That's what he's going to focus on. He's not going to hear about the Halloween marathon where Phil literally didn't ask for anything. And that wasn't it, even though he was on stream for 10 hours. You know, all he's going to hear about is the Scorn begathon. Lol.
Snowcrawl did another tip. I know their fans think your criticism is unfair. Do you think there are changes in your messaging you can make to prevent people from misconstruing your words? Yeah, I don't know how I would do that. I would like opinions. It can't be, it's this simple. I can't just not say, hey guys, just so you know, we have goals today. It would be great if we could hit them. That helps me a lot. If I don't mention that, then there will be days where it'll be absolutely terrible for me. I know that. When I mention it, people get reminded, and then sometimes they contribute. You know, it goes hand in hand. You know, if there's a way that I could do it that doesn't seem greedy, because I'm not trying to be greedy, okay? But, you know, I don't know. You're right. Let me tell you, that Scorn stream, I don't think I conveyed myself properly. There was multiple things going on there. I was upset that people were trolling me. I was upset that the game had fallen apart and become a mess because I liked the game up to that point. It was very disappointing. I was upset because I didn't get any support on that stream, and it was an important stream that I needed support to afford things that week. It was like everything at once that exploded, and then I say it in the wrong way, and here come the highlights, right? And that's what happens.
Oh, yeah. So that means that everything I said didn't matter because it was a character. It wasn't real. No, it was. You said it. You thought it up in your head, and you said it to your audience. So it still sticks and it still matters what you said.
I'll read this, but what's funny is it's not even true. Again, this is a misconception. I'll read this. So this guy tipped $1, says, you won't read this, but you should. Well, I'm going to read it. I don't think you're greedy. I do believe that you're poor and living paycheck to paycheck. Now, again, that's another misconception.
I'm not poor.
I'm living in a good living arrangement, all right? You know, I'm not poor. That's another thing that's fucked up that people say that. I'm not poor. All right? But when I'm honest with you and I say, guess what, guys? Unless support is good this week, I can't afford to buy the new game. Unless I get a good amount of support, I actually can't even afford my day off this week. That's 100% true. It is. That doesn't mean I'm poor. There's a difference here. When you say, there's all these whole other kind of things that have to be said about, oh, you're poor or whatever. So I don't want to even say that, because here we go again. With that kind of people will say, oh, this and that. Anyway, let's continue.
Phil, why are you an ebeggar? But you told me to become a full-time streamer. Like... You know? And then on top of that, man, Phil really keeps asking for contributions too much. And then on top of that, what they do is they try to justify their actions with their bullshit memes, like the WWE Champions gambling meme, right? Oh, you see, the real reason that Phil's falling apart is because of that.
My problems are because you keep fucking with me. You want to know, here, you want to test it? Leave me alone for a year. Leave Darkside Phil alone for a year. Don't hit him with false strikes. Don't make insane slanderous videos about him constantly. Don't fucking try to do identity theft against me. Leave me the fuck alone. Give me 1 year to be left alone and see what happens. Because the thing is, I'm doing a good job. I was doing a good job.
I am delusional.
I was in a good position. And then all of a sudden, you got me kicked out of the Twitch partner program. You got me canceled off of fucking Spring, right? You had all this thing happen to me, and you got me back to square one again. That's your fault. I didn't even do anything for that to happen. It just fucking happened because you idiots keep fucking with me. You create the endless cycle of drama. You do. Not me. I don't want anything to do with it. I just want to chill here every day with my audience and have a good time. I don't want to have anything to do with this. You create it. But then you hate on me for having to live in it. I don't want to sit here and have to ask anyone for anything ever. I have to make a living. And then you hate on me for it. But I did it because you fucked with my money. That's why I had to do it. But you're somehow immune. I'm completely in the wrong constantly. You know? It drives me fucking nuts. And, you know, people say, how do you stay sane? I don't know. I guess I'm just wired differently. It was kind of, you know what? It was really weird. I know this is going to sound very odd. I'm in high school. Okay?
Oh my god, he's drinking salt.
I'm sitting at my desk. And these two girls, who were more popular girls in the school, turn to me. And one of them says, I can't believe you, Phil. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, you realize that, like, prom's next week, right? Like, everyone in the school's freaking out. Everyone's so stressed. Gotta worry about the perfect dress. Gotta worry about the party, who you're going with, all the plans, photo ops, all the drama around you. Everyone's so stressed to the gills about life right now. Everyone's freaking out. And I turn to you. I look at the whole classroom, and everyone's feeling the same. Everyone's all like, you know. And I turn to you, and you're just sitting there nonchalantly. You look like cool as a cucumber. She goes, how the hell do you do it? I said, I don't know. I just don't care.
He actually doesn't have emotions like that in him. No sympathy, no empathy. He's a sociopath.
Okay, it's the same person. They took another dollar and said, let's have this conversation. You beg and other creators live stream, they don't mention money. Go 1 week without talking about money, see what happens. I guarantee you the money will come. Big ups on you reading my last message. Now, here's the thing. Let's talk about that. How could that happen? Because I do shout-outs for contributions, because I'm grateful. That's mentioning money, right? We have tiered rewards, right? If I don't mention the tiered rewards, then people won't know about them. You see what I'm saying? Like, we have to figure out where's the middle ground. Okay? What is the middle ground? That's a valid question that I would absolutely love that discussion. Let's figure out what's middle ground. What is it that people find obnoxious about the streams, but is reasonable that I can change?
I can't just never mention money and contributions. That means I will go out of business.
I will literally go out of business. That cannot happen. But what's a reasonable way that I can do it that you guys would not find obnoxious? And again, the other thing is, I'm honest. There's been situations where people didn't realize that if I didn't raise a certain amount in a week, I literally can't afford a new game, or I can't do what I need to do, right? Right? That's truthful stuff, though. If I don't mention, now, let's say, for example, I didn't mention it, and then I didn't get Gotham Knights. Now, what would have happened on release day? Well, sorry, guys, I just can't get it today. I don't have it, the money, so we're not playing it today. What's worse, me mentioning it earlier in the week, and then because people contribute, now I can afford it, and we can play it on the day people want to see it, or me just not playing it? You know, like, what's the worst situation?
Oh my god, he's drinking gin. Gin is great.
Okay, another dollar tip from the same person. Shout out contributions. Everything else stays off the table. Don't constantly keep mentioning how tipping is going and how low support is. Don't mention raising money. Try it for a week. You'll see how much better things will be. What about goals, though? Like, for example, you know, the tiered goals. Because I feel like no matter what, people are still going to say it's not good enough. You know what I mean? I kind of feel that way. I feel like no matter how I do it or how I go about it, people are still going to say, oh, you see, you still mentioned it. Like, you know, right now, we're $15 of tips. At the $50 tip level, I put on Gunner glasses. You guys know that, but I get newcomers every day who don't. How do I go about relaying the way the stream works without mentioning it? Right? I really don't... the thing is, like, I don't feel like me saying, hey, guys, so just so you know, we have tiered rewards, you know, and, you know, we're really close to one right now, and if we do that, we'll get that. I don't think that's begging.
That's not begging. That's business.
I think that's just mentioning. The difference is, you're absolutely right. If I'm like, yeah, by the way, I got a giant bill due later this week, I need help with it. That's begging. For sure it is. But that's also me being transparent because I need the help. Because if I don't mention... Here's the thing. There's been situations where we get 3-4 streams in a row where contributions are quite low. And at that point, I'm like, I don't know what to do. I need to raise money to pay bills. If I don't, I can't pay bills. That's not good. You know, I don't know what else to do about it.
Happy Thanksgiving! there's still this back here. And it's still in the back of my neck, the back of my head, the back of my mind, and it's always telling me it's WWE Champions time. I love it. I love it. Is a mobile game addict. Phil has indoctrinated children who send him money, blatantly milking for money. It's a money pit. It's gone, just gone like that. In an instant, fucking gone. I just care about money. That I just can't help it. I eBay. Contributions are mandatory, but I need your help. I am appealing directly to you. No decency, no respect, no common sense, no fucking maturity. Is the guy who just doesn't get reality.